So, okay, this is Dre Tattoo Squid Podcast of Tattoo Squid Podcast here with Harley Newell, or is it Newell? I guess Newell, right?
No.
Oh no, okay, and from Murder Incorporated. Yeah, not Dance Incorporated, Murder Incorporated, and but there could be some dancing in there. I don't know, but uh, so how you doing? In a certain this some location that we're not going to disclose. So how you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
How's everything going?
I'm doing good. Up here in upstate New York or somewhere. Oh no, it's undisclosed. And
The disclosed area has been open. So
yeah,
yeah,
and it's freezing. You know what I mean? But it's all right. We had a hot summer, so it's fine.
there you go. So what we were just talking about before was how to get the podcast out there and whatnot. So you gotta, and you do a crime podcast.
Yep.
So what does tell everybody what
Yeah.
your podcast entails, of what stories and what?
So I guess it starts with how I started it. Like I've always been into true crime. My father was a murderer. And when I found that out, I just immediately became hooked on true crime. Like it immediately hooked me, and because I was like, how could somebody with a family like go out and do something like that? So that's how it started.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a ton of true crime, and then I was like, I had a friend that was best friends with, like brothers. He was the best man at my wedding. He's my kid's godfather, and we had grown apart. I'm like, what a good way for us to reconnect is to do the podcast together,
Yeah. Sounds good. We call it.
So
So
we've been doing it.
what issues do you have? I mean, was it like some kind of like crazy ones, or just whatever comes to mind?
No, it's like, well, to be honest with you, it's because I had a drinking problem and I had a drug problem. And I was always lying. I was always borrowing money and not paying back. I was just not being a good person. So
Okay.
we just grew apart. And then once I got sober and I started the podcast, we reconnected.
Oh, okay. Cool. So what's the basic format of what the true crime podcast is? Like, what
So
yeah.
so I write a story. I get a different story every week. I'll try and find like some that are like that you're not gonna normally hear, you know what I mean? Not the Ted Bundys and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like I have done like Charles Manson, but other than that, most of them you haven't heard of.
Yeah.
And I'll write a crime line. So I'll write out a crime line and then I read it to Buddy, my friend Buddy.
Okay. Cool. And then well, that's basically it. So you have like different stories for each I guess each we call it each episode that you do.
Yeah, yeah. Or
So
if like,
yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just like, I always cut in by accident.
No, I do the same thing. I do the
Oh,
same thing, man. So I will do some longer ones. Like Charles Manson was 4 weeks. So that was like the most research I've done for an episode. I mean, that was really in depth. We just right from when he was born till when he died. So it took a long time.
yeah. Oh, okay, cool. So what does Murder Incorporated, how, I mean, well, you just mentioned that you did it with you and your friend, and how did the name come about? I mean probably because of like, your father, I guess.
Well, it's really funny how it came about is that I was at work and I was just talking with my boss. I'm like, I want to start a true crime podcast.
Yeah.
And he's from the city. And he's like, why don't you do Murder Incorporated? And I'm like, oh my God, that's it. It just clicked. I'm like, I gotta do Murder Incorporated. And it kind of in the beginning backfired on me because people thought like it was like a mafia podcast or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that. But I didn't know the story about Murder Incorporated. So after I started the podcast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love the name now. I wouldn't change it for anything. I love it.
And do you make like do you have like pictures or something, like certain ones, like certain podcasts have their like uh, uh like like, all right, say for like mine, I have like a squid, but I try to make it in a different kind of character wise, like
Yeah,
mafia, like a suit kind of thing, or maybe, or but what would
we
yours
have a
be?
we have a skeleton. Well, we have the one that's for like that's on Apple or wherever, and that's an outline of a dead body.
Okay.
But then, like our murder, like for our poster, it's a detective, but he's dressed up in a trench coat and everything. But he's
Yeah.
a skeleton, and he's like in an
Oh.
alley, like looking at stuff. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. Oh, that'd be cool for a thumbnail kind of thing, so I gotta look into
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it is pretty neat.
Wait, hold on. Just ran this down, trench
How
coat.
long have you been doing your podcast?
I've been doing it for since last March, not last March. I think the March before. Not this March, but the March last year. Um because like I said, we could I have a thing where I wanted to be a radio DJ,
Yep.
but I didn't want to go to school.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I did my school time and, and I'm like, all right, I don't know if I want to go to college. Plus, I don't really have the money for it. I didn't have a
Yeah.
scholarship. I'm like, fuck it. So I went from school and then I worked. So I never really got a chance to do like the radio DJ thing, because from what that point was, my music teacher, he had like all these like tables and he had certain things on there, and you could be the weather or sports or music or whatnot. And even though I failed it, but it's something I want to do because there was a DJ that I love on Long Island. I don't know, you probably heard of him as well. um Wolfman Jack.
Yeah.
So there was Wolfman Jack, and even though this is a character on a TV show, it's the epitome of what I wanted to be looking like and be, which was like Dr. Johnny Fever on WKRP in Cincinnati.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that kind of thing, just like wearing the sunglasses, like in the daytime, have like a mustache, like the way I have it now, and just radio DJing, just like sleeping on the couch or just sleeping behind the couch, or something
Yeah.
like I just been like out drinking forever, and then I'm like, oh, I have to go to work. I'm like, okay, and carry my coffee around. So like that kind of thing. But then all of a sudden I found out about podcasting, and
Yeah.
and it just came natural. I'm like, okay, it was like that was it. I'm like, all right, I'll do that because everybody's telling me I talk too much, so might as well go on podcasting and just do it from that.
You have a good voice for podcasting.
I never thought so in the beginning. Now, I mean, like in the beginning, I was going like you can ask my girlfriend this week, because like the very first one, I tell everybody this, that I don't like to be heard. I mean, I don't like to be seen, but I want to be heard.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how to do the audio one, but then I figured, okay, let me do the video, and I'm like, well, okay, now I'm doing something I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
But that's what I started out doing, and then I found out about Anchor and audio stuff, and then there's other audio places as well, and then I started doing that, and then I just kept on talking and talking and talking and talking, whatever. So I've been whatever comes to mind. It's to the point where I'm like, I would make like with those holidays that you get, like every day is like some kind of holiday that you don't see on the calendar, like, oh, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
donut day,
Yeah.
oh, it's the pilgrimage day or whatever. And I would go and look for that list, and then I would say, I'm like, oh, happy weird fucking hairdo day or something like that, and
Yeah.
then
The other day was spreadsheet day.
a what?
Spreadsheet day.
Yeah, like that. And it's like, oh, all you gamblers, go get your spreadsheets, or something like that, and then just talk about that. And then October was like my month because I would talk about horror movies every fucking day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of people that are podcasts like, oh my God, you did a podcast like every day. I'm like, yeah, on like a movie. I did like maybe not even 20 minutes. and
Yeah.
then I just published it, and then that was it. I didn't do editing. I just, that was it. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's cool.
you
So
know,
what is your favorite action movie of all time? Action.
am I the one that's supposed to ask you questions? No, that's good. No, no, but no, but mine. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to say Fast and Furious. I mean, they
That was
even though
my
there's like
favorite.
so many of them, but it's a good action, part. You got like 8 people in a group.
Yeah, and they're all good.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting ridiculous now that they're, I think they are coming out with another one, I think.
Oh, they'll
Um,
never stop.
oh, what's that?
They'll never stop.
I think there is like to a point they should, like,
Oh,
I'm like, one person died in one movie, and all of a sudden now he came back. I'm like, the fuck is this? You know, like the guy,
yeah,
the guy that was in Tokyo or something is like, oh, Han's dead. Like,
yeah, yeah.
like he's dead, and all of a sudden now you see like this new one is like, oh, guess who's joining the team? Oh, Han, the fucking dead person. You know, what the
Yeah.
fuck is this shit? And then now they're like different people, and John Cena's in it, and but I mean, it's good action stuff. It's like something good to watch.
Super entertaining.
Yeah, good quality entertainment indeed. What's your favorite action, since we're flipping the script here?
John Wick. I love John Wick.
Oh,
I mean,
shit, what a fact.
absolutely. Those fight scenes. I mean, the best fight scenes ever in movies. They really are.
Yeah,
Like,
because
it's so good.
what do you call it? Have you like read up on it? Because he does a lot of training. He does a
Yeah.
lot of,
I was
from
watching YouTube videos, and he goes out to the gun ranges, and he's actually really, really good. Like they were saying that he's like as good as the instructors at like hitting the targets on time and everything.
oh yeah,
And
definitely.
then
You see, I
he's
think Halle Berry was like right behind him going, dee, dee,
yep,
um,
yeah. That's the
uh,
video I watched with him with Halle Berry,
oh, that's where you went. Oh, there you go.
and he he has like a photographic memory. They were saying where like the scene in the red circle and in John Wick 1,
yeah.
where he goes to that bar and he's fighting. They said that would take like months of training and to get all the choreography down. He got it down in 1 day
Oh yeah.
because he had photographic memory.
Yeah, he gets the shit done. I mean, it was like, wow.
Yeah,
That
and
I
I
mean, the
love him. He's
first
such a good guy.
yeah, the first one, I love the first one because the whole aspect of the, that he, not the fact that, his wife dies, you know, but just like after the fact when he's sitting at home, and then within like minutes when he got home, here's his package, that his wife like timed it to the T,
Yeah, yeah,
and he has his puppy because she didn't want him to be alone. But then you got these asshole kids that are part of the Russian mafia of sorts. We call it, come in and didn't really break in the house yet. Just like, oh, I like your car, because he's driving around with the puppy. Oh, nice puppy.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I like your car. You want to sell it? He goes, no, no. He goes, no, I'm asking you, blah, blah, blah. And then not even like 24 hours later, they're busting in his house, beating the crap out of him, and then kill the dog. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me, really? And then that's when like
Yeah.
a whirlwind of fucking hell.
You know,
I
it's
was like,
so good, dude.
yeah, it
So good.
is
I love it.
very
Like
good.
the fight scenes are amazing.
They have was it one, two? I think 4 and 5. I think is coming out. I don't know
Yeah.
when, but
Yep. Yep.
um, but since we're on the subject of movies, now what is your? I know you said action, but is there any other movies that you like?
I would say, what is my favorite movie of all time? You know, it's a really good movie, and it doesn't. I mean, a lot of people that party like it. Is Fear, Loathing in Las Vegas?
Oh,
You
with
like
Johnny
that movie?
Depp.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Johnny
I
Depp,
love
right?
that movie. Yeah,
Yeah. Let's
I've
talk
seen
about
that movie like a million times.
let's talk about Johnny Depp, actually. Because Johnny Depp, he hasn't been in any movie since we call that whole ordeal with Amber Heard and uh,
Yeah.
because of the whole trials and everything else, and he couldn't. Now I think he can do movies, but not the ones I guess that he's like known to do. But everybody's fighting, to have him back on Pirates of the Caribbean because they
How
are
would they
having
do it
him.
without him?
Huh?
How would they even do it without him? You
You,
know what
you
I
know,
mean? Like,
they were trying to get somebody else and then to be Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm like, no, there's only one person that is Captain Jack Sparrow.
yeah, I
But
agree.
I mean, that's like John Wick. It's like, oh, this and this, and if he didn't do it, then you want to still do the John Wick. Then you can't have like anybody else but Keanu Reeves. But
No, exactly.
but like Johnny Depp, you had to have Johnny Depp for that movie sequence. But
Yeah,
you know,
like somebody's world, even somebody that just goes to show you somebody's world, even that powerful, could just get taken down in an instant. You know what I mean? Like he got his world tore right apart by that marriage.
I mean, it's torn, but I think it can be reestablished. Not
Oh
we call it like, oh, they're gonna get back together, but I think his life is gonna be coming back because I've seen other actors gone through like that, but plus worse. And then
yeah, that's
still,
true.
Mickey Rourke, you know,
Yeah,
he had like
yeah,
the worst time, and then he, bounced back, and he was in all these fucking crazy ass movies, and he
he's good.
made, yeah, he's good. Robert Downey Jr., with his like, the drug, alcohol, and he was in like after Less Than Zero, he was like a
Yeah,
mess,
yeah.
and then he got back, and then now he was doing, he did Iron Man, and that propelled
Yep.
his whole fucking thing to new heights,
Oh yeah.
you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And it's like,
Who's your favorite actor of all time?
what's that?
Who's your favorite actor of all time?
Uh, Gary Oldman.
Really?
Yeah, I mean
He
the
is
guy
good.
can
He is
play
good.
any fucking
No,
character.
he is. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
could
that's true.
he could play a police lieutenant. He could play a mafia hit person that was in what was that movie with the French guy that's like an assassin, and he had like this little kid. It was a
Oh, the professional.
yeah, the professional, and then he's like a corrupt cop in that one, and then
Yeah.
he was a Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. So he could
Yeah.
play anything, and it's awesome. It's just like he could play an older guy, maybe a somewhat younger guy at point. He could be serious.
Yeah.
He could be funny. That's like my favorite like actor. I mean, Johnny Depp is too, but I mean, something that nobody real because a lot of people were talking about Gary Oldman on a podcast, and it just dawned on me about like Gary Oldman, and then that's what just popped in my head.
I mean, he'll go down as one of the all-time greats.
So, and then just like add on to what you're, so there's Gary Oldman, and my favorite actress is Kate Beckinsale.
I love Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, I know.
I
I'm
love
like,
her.
what is your favorite actor and actress?
I would say it'd have to for the guys, it would have to be a tie between Denzel Washington.
Okay.
He could play. He's another one. He could play anything. He could
Yeah.
literally play anything. Denzel Washington and Keanu Reeves. I just love anything that Keanu Reeves is in. Even like his B movies that he's been in, they're good. Like he makes a movie good. And that's what I look for. I mean, he just makes a movie good. Like
Yeah.
same with Denzel Washington. He could just read the Bible and I'd listen to it. You know what I mean? Like he's just interesting.
Which basically he has done a movie like that called The Book of Eli. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He has like the
That's
the
true.
the, the Bible right there, from the apocalypse.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, that one's good. There was another. I can't remember the name of the movie, but he was in it. Oh, what was it? He was in it. John Goodman, the guy that played Casey on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Basically, the guy that played Casey in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he was like a killer, serial killer, and then he died, but then he could jump in people's bodies.
Fallen.
Ah, man, you are good at this, man. We got, if this is like you got points, you getting points already. You got like 5 points already. Yeah, but
That's funny.
yeah, because I'm
That
like,
is a good movie.
what's that?
Seven. That's another good movie.
Seven's a good one.
That's one of my all-time favorites, for sure.
Yeah, Brad
sure.
Pitt, Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman I loved in well, the Seven is one of them. Kissing the Girl.
Yeah.
Along Came a Spider.
Along Came a Spider. Yeah.
Along Came a Spider. We call that's like the best one I ever seen him in. Like that one and
really
Red.
good.
And Red with Bruce Willis and
Bruce Willis
and Helen Mirren.
Yeah, Red was good. That was a good movie.
Oh my god! And another one, Helen Mirren. We call it. She could play anything.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
could play, a a heavenly old lady, or a sensual lady, or she could be a demon-looking like witch that's in Winchester.
Yeah.
You're like, she could just do, and then well, I guess that's what the the prospect of having, being an actor or an actress, you have to, kind of do a chameleon kind of thing, and mimic everybody else,
But everybody can't do that. There's some actors that are just they play that certain character every movie. You know what I
yeah.
mean? They play that same guy every movie. Like an Italian guy will play a Italian mobster in every movie. Like Sandra Bullock. She's my favorite actress. She could do anything.
Yeah, I mean, every one of them. It's like, I'm like, oh wow, how about this one? It's like, no, this one does this every time. It's like kind of stale, like the same shtick, as they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, since we're getting into the subject of stars, now I got a question. I asked this like everybody already, so now I'm like doing a poll. Who do you think will die first?
Yep.
Betty White or Keith Richards?
Damn.
See, look, it makes you think, doesn't it?
That's a good one. I would have to say, between them two, that's a really good one. Betty White's probably going. Keith Richards probably lived till he's 1,000.
Okay, all right. So we'll give Betty is like 6, and Keith's ahead by 8. So he's on 8. So, and I had to mark you down because my girlfriend's like, you should just put down everybody's name so you know who said what. I'm like, oh, that's true. Okay. So, but the reason being because a friend of mine asked me this question. He goes, you should say this on your podcast, and I've been saying it ever since. And it's like, oh, who's gonna die first? Betty White, because honestly, Betty White's 99, but she's gonna be 100 in January, like 3 months. No, 2 months. So 2 months in
wow.
Yeah, so she's gonna be 100. Keith Richards is like 76, but I think he's like 105 already. Because he died like 2 or 3 times. 76. Yeah, he died. He died like 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah, he's an old 76.
Yeah, and I actually used Betty White and Keith Richards on the last one I did, the thumbnail. Which if you ever see it, when you go on Twitter, check it out. Just look at my thing, and you'll see like the pictures that I did on there.
Oh, I definitely am going to. I'm definitely.
It's like Sharknado, and I have Beetlejuice on the bottom, and the guys from Film Rage like over in the corner. But then I had Betty White sticking out of one shark's mouth, and then she's waving, going like a cartoon, going like this, and then
Keith Richards, I definitely got to check it out.
Yeah, and then Keith
That's so
Richards'
cool.
face is like a little cartoonish, and he's just like, same thing like that,
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome. Yeah,
that's
I
one.
will check that out.
Was that?
I will definitely check that out.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Um, so then I was like going to use some of the ideas on here, and maybe do like a John Wick kind of thing, or maybe a Fast and Furious kind of thing, and and then throw a whole bunch of different things, and then we'll do like a crime scene kind of thing, and then they're just
That's
standing
awesome.
around, you know.
How long does that
So,
take you to do?
um, not that long. I mean, if I get like, thank God for internet, if I drew it out, then it'll take me a long ass fucking time. But
Yeah.
when you go and look for the internet, you could always look for like John Wick, kind of like, I'll put like John Wick or John Wick cartoon or something, and I'll probably have a cartoon of John Wick, and then do everything like cartoonish kind of thing, and then find a
I
skeleton.
they have this thing where you can like get your face put on. You got to pay, but you could get your face put on like your favorite movie. So
Oh
like
yeah,
for me, I would do John Wick, and then but I'm Keanu Reeves. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's my face, but then it looks like I'm freaking going crazy and kicking people's head. I'm gonna do it. I'm
yeah,
gonna do
yeah.
it. It's
No,
super
that's
cool.
awesome because even I can also use like get Keanu Reeves or Denzel Washington standing with everybody else, and then they'll do a thing like Seven or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
have a
It's
box, and
super
then
cool.
just like it's like a whole bunch of shit I can like like once I get my mind into the whole thing, and then I'll
Yeah,
go to well here I'll tell you what the place I usually go. Hold
yeah,
on.
no problem.
Oh wait, here it is. So it's a photo mixer. So
Oh, okay.
basically you got the app and you go to the photo mixer, and then you can click on it, you get any kind of picture that's on your camera roll or whatever, and then you just go and it's like Photoshop. So
Yeah, yeah.
you put on there, you can erase certain things on there. You can put this one on here, and um uh and whatnot. So then that's what I try doing, and I just go like if I need more pictures, I'll just go in this and this, and then I'll make the font of the lettering, whatever kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like say for whatever it is, like say a skeletal kind of like font. And if they have it, then I'll write down a name like your name, or I'll have yours in like neon,
Oh, that's
somewhat
awesome. That's
like
awesome.
a neon thing going like not blinking, but it just be like that on a building. And
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah. That's
that's even
awesome.
perfect. That's even perfect. Put like the building and have like a street corner, and then have like the chalk line, and have the skeleton trench coat like outside, the skeleton in the
Oh,
trench
yeah,
coat,
that's awesome.
and then
That's
have
awesome.
like have some of the characters like just standing around or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a
Like
good idea. That's a really good idea to do for episodes, because then you get to see what really it's all going to be all about. It's a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah. Basically, that's what I would do. I'm like so that way it's like something. And the people that I do the interview with, they can see like, oh, we did talk about that. Oh, we did talk about that, and it's like
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right in the picture. So, but
yeah. It's a good idea.
but I try not to do any pictures of like what you're just saying, about like with your father, and your what you went through. I'm not going to go and put that in there, because that's
Yeah, yeah,
that's your thing, even though they'll hear it, but it's not going to be like on a cartoon thing. So I
yeah,
try
yeah,
I
yeah.
try not to do that. I'm like, which I
It's a
never
little
really do.
depressing to put on there anyway.
Yeah, well, not really depressing. It's just like it's like, oh, this guy's condoning, drinking and drugs and murder. I'm like, no, it's just a picture, But like I said, they're gonna take it out of context. Um,
That's the
but
thing. You really do have to worry about being taken out of context these days. You really do.
I know I was talking to this one guy. Actually, the podcast I did before Saturday that we were going to do.
Yeah.
But then we call this guy Big Nick, and he has a podcast called Gag on This. Oh, let me write that down for an honorable mention. Um, Gag on This, where they talk about whatever, and if it's like offensive, they don't really give a shit, they just do it, whatever. So, but then we were talking about like um being like when you're talking about like say like a suicide hotline or something, you know,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, I don't condone, like suicide thing, it's like, listen, don't take the easy way out, blah 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 blah, like that. And then, then he was like, oh, it's like we have to like say this so that way we won't get in trouble or something. I'm like, yeah, because some person's gonna hear like, oh, well, they said it's okay, we'll do it, you don't want to
If
be
you
like that
know,
guy, you know.
Doug Stanhope does a thing on that condoning suicide. I'm
Really?
like, that's just a little bit too much for me. Yeah, he says if your life is still shitty at 30 years old, you might as well end it. It ain't gonna get any better. He does like a bet on it, and I'm like, yeah, like he had a fan that wrote him, and then was telling him that he was suicidal. And then he did do it, and he killed himself.
See,
And
that's
he's
what I'm
like, yeah,
saying.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you really don't know.
Yeah, you're just
Like,
like, and then that person that what you just said, we call it, that person is going to be like, oh my god, I just like contributed to somebody doing something, you
yeah,
know,
exactly.
and it's
How can you live
like
with that?
it was like it was, that's why I was like, I'm trying not to like put this in this, because that way at least you're trying to not cover yourself, but trying to like make sure that you're not really having them do it.
And be
um
responsible.
Yeah, yeah, trying to be responsible and all that, because it's like drinking and driving or something. It's not good to go drinking and driving, because I've been through it, and
Yeah, me
it
too.
doesn't really do. I mean, at the time when you're doing it, you figured, oh, this is gonna be fun, but then at the end, it's not fun, because then
Yeah.
you, you got to pay for a lawyer, you got to pay for this and taxes and everything else, and then you can't drive your car because you're an idiot from doing whatever, and
Yeah. Oh, I've
I've been
been
there.
there. I've been there too.
Yeah, yeah, we've all been there. It's just like, but then there were people like, oh no, cops not gonna touch me. I'm like, oh yeah, they will.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. There's no
Yeah,
talking your way out of a GWI.
yeah. There's no way that you're gonna talk out of it unless you're like, I'm not even gonna say, but if somebody was like helped you out or something, then yeah, then you can probably get at it. But by hook or by crook, you're pretty much gonna be like in the tank.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Exactly.
then sleeping it off. But then after that sleeping off and everything else, it's not like the old west where, oh, I got drunk at the saloon, and then the sheriff tosses you into the jail thing, and you sleep it off, and then
Yeah,
like, all
yeah.
right, go wander off somewhere else. Nah, nah, it's like, if you're gonna go and you get into a vehicle, you're gonna kill somebody. Yeah, and
That's the thing is like when I got my DWIs, I was so glad that I got pulled over. At the end of the day, I was so glad because I would way rather get a DWI than kill somebody. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Way rather get a DWI than kill somebody. Like if I should have not been driving, you know what I mean? Both times I was way over the limit, and I was so glad that I got pulled over.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, I did the same thing. I was like, because you're young, you're feeling your oats,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm out with friends, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm around the corner, and even when you're around the corner, that's still uh parts of you, like when you're going to drive in, it's around the corner, something can happen around the corner.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Doesn't matter where you are. You could be like 150 miles away, and you're driving, and within that 2-second gap when you get home, somebody could just sideswipe you right there, and then but you're drunk anyway, or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
yeah, I mean, because I got home. Well, I didn't really get home, but I got pulled over, and then the guy was like, he was really cool. I mean, it wasn't like one of those, oh, I got to reach my quota kind of thing. He
Yeah.
was like, listen, you know why I pulled you over? And he goes, no, not really. And then I had like a whole bunch of like a stack of like parking tickets like this on my windshield, and I'm driving, and I still didn't know that there was parking tickets on my.
Oh,
So, but
yep.
then I had a broken taillight, and that's the reason why he pulled me over. And he goes, oh, have you been drinking? I'm like, oh, I had a couple here and a couple there, whatever. So he gave me the breathalyzer test, and then he's like, listen, he goes, here, smoke a cigarette, maybe, do it a couple of times, and if it goes down, then I can let you go. But if it stays the same, I have to bring you in. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. So I did like 5 times, and I smoked a whole pack of cigarettes like that night,
Damn.
and it still blew like a 0.21, I think it was, and that was like way over.
Yeah, that's way over.
And then I got into the thing, and I'm like, and I was having fun with it, but I'm like, listen, don't put me in a jail cell with a guy named Bubba or Bendover or something, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, don't worry. And then we get to the jail cell, and there's like, the lunch table kind of thing with the handcuffs along the,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm, I'm reiterating the whole thing that you went through. You were like, oh, I seen that too. But
Yeah, I did.
but everybody was like DUI, and then there was like one bank robber. One bank robber, and it's a woman, a woman bank robber, and she was the only one that was crying. Everybody else was having a good ass fucking time. So
Yeah,
everybody's
she's not going away for the night though.
yeah, she's like, oh, I'm going for 30 years. You guys can get out the next fucking day or something. You
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
And then I sit there and I'm like, and then all of a sudden this girl walks in, and it's a girl I know from high school. And she's walking in like barefooted, whatever. And then she looks around and like this, and she sees me, and she goes, I went to school with you, like really fucking loud. And then the cop that's like right across from me, he's like, you know her? I'm like, unfortunately, yeah. And then he goes, well, if you play your cards right, we could probably get you a co-ed jail. So, I'm like, oh,
That's
I'm
funny.
like, I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden the sergeant, like right behind me goes, no, we can't do that. We got in trouble the last time that happened. I'm like, oh, really, dude? Come on. My first time getting arrested for DUI. Yeah, got some fun. So, but, then you go through the whole thing and the arraignment, and, my dad goes, he's standing there. My dad's Hungarian. So he's like full Hungarian. He's like this. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
and then he's like, him and my mom, like right here, and I'm right here with the handcuffs, and the guy holding my arm and everything else. And judge is like, so is this your son? And my dad goes, Your Honor, I don't know who he is anymore.
Oh my God.
I was like, Dad, it was like one of those TV shows. Dad, really? Oh. And then we get home, and then there's like, there's Kentucky Fried Chicken, there's pizza, there's this. I'm like, I was only going for one fucking night. You know, I wasn't in there for like 20 days or something. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. It's funny.
so it was just crazy. And then I learned my lesson at that. I'm like, cab, 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 cab. That's
Yeah.
either that,
Yeah.
basically cab, or just don't go, or just drink at home or some shit. I don't know. But folks, don't go drinking and driving. If you have to drink, designated driver, or just take a cab. You save money in the long run, and a whole lot of hassle. Yeah.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
hurt somebody, you really regret it.
You're telling me, yeah, and it's gonna be up. Then it's gonna be like psychiatric bills that you're not gonna be able to afford. Because
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
true.
mean, I never really gone through that, but I could just tell that that's how it's probably gonna be.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
so now, are you into horror movies or?
I'm not big into horror movies to be honest with you.
Okay.
I do like them, but they gotta be good. You know what I mean? Like I like the old ones, like Nightmare on Elm Street. I like that kind of stuff, but the new
Okay.
ones just
Yeah.
don't do it for me.
Yeah.
Jason, they just don't do it for me. Like, have you seen any good new horror movies?
There was one that was called Malignant. And I'm not saying that it was good, but it was different, and it was all the hype. Like everybody, like the whole thing where they said, oh, okay, it's the hype and all this, and I'm like, okay, then I watched it like at home, and I'm like, let me check this out, and then
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, it's a little freaky, but then it just like ties in with everything. It's not like
yeah,
horror like slasher. I mean, there was some gore, but it wasn't stuff. I mean, I could sleep through that, no problem. I mean, I could
Yeah.
sleep watching. I mean, I watch that, and I can go right to sleep, no problem. Which,
Like Hellraiser. I mean, who doesn't love Hellraiser?
oh, I love Hellraiser, Pinhead. I got like the stickers on my work helmet and all that. So I got like Hellraiser. I got
That was
Jason.
the first horror movie I ever watched.
That's the first one you ever watched?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's
Hellraiser.
good. So the
I
very first,
loved it, man.
the first one, right?
The first one, yeah, the
Oh,
first
okay.
one.
When I was married, and my wife, she never liked horror movies, never. To whatever. And I'm not saying to this day because she passed away like years ago, but she told me is like, Andre, we got to watch a horror movie. I'm like, what do you mean? You want to watch a horror movie? And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
so what do you want to watch? And then she goes, well, it's between two. And I'm like, all right, so there's two horror movies that you considered. I'm like, oh, I want to hear this. And then she goes,
Mm.
Hellraiser was one of them. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, what's the other one? And she goes, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm
That's
like,
a good one.
it's a good one, but I'm like, holy shit, you went to the top of the two bloodiest fucking movies.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not like, oh, like Freddy Krueger and in the dreams, and then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jason, he does his thing and everything else, and Michael Myers pretty much, from what I found out, and I didn't know that we call the first Halloween, there's no blood at all. We call in the movie he stabs people, but you don't see any blood.
I never knew that.
Yeah, no, because there's I forgot what show it was. We were watching it like on Halloween, and it was like how they do the behind the scenes of every like horror movie, and it's like there is
No
no.
shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like what was the one that we seen? We like a Friday the 13th. Like they were not going to make Friday the 13th because of budget, and they didn't know what's going on. And the guy that made a movie, he'd never really done horror movies before.
Wow,
And then
that's crazy.
now he's like a big fucking guy. So now he'll
Yeah,
do horror movies left and right. And then like Wes Craven, that did Nightmare on Elm Street, they were like going through the whole thing. It was like, oh well, this guy was drunk and this one didn't know what's going on, and I'm like, holy
I
shit.
love stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
you get
love
the
it.
whole, and then Kevin Bacon, which that like Friday the 13th for Kevin Bacon, that was his first fucking movie.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I think that was his first movie as it is to do it. And like even Nightmare on Elm Street, we called that almost didn't come to fruition, at one point, until I think
That's crazy.
Wes Craven, I think, just got into the whole thing, and he made kids shows before that.
Really?
I thought that was funny as hell. I'm like, he made kid
I didn't know
shows.
that.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, shit.
That's funny.
But
That's funny. I didn't know
so now you do a crime podcast,
that. Yeah.
and it's a crime list, like a crime line, right? So you just
Yeah, timeline.
so the timeline of the crime, I guess we call it. So what does it do? I mean, like you just see where everything goes, I guess, or
Well, like most true crime podcasts will do from the day the killer's born until they die.
okay,
I try and like do it more like jumping around. Like maybe you start one story will be from the detective's point of view. I'll read a book
okay.
and then go like that. And then another one will be from a victim's point of view. I try and jump around to change it up a little bit. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay, okay, cool. Let me just switching it up.
Yeah,
And
because it just gets boring. You know what I mean? If you're doing the same shit every week. So I try
yeah,
and spice it up. You know?
yeah. I mean, you're trying. You want to be like one more than everybody else. Like, there's like numerous podcasts out there that are doing crime and everything else. And
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
but they got their shtick, I guess, and then you
Yeah.
got yours because you don't want to do the same as what everybody else is doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
because
You have to stand out somehow.
yeah, you got to stick out like a sore thumb somehow, like as it
Yeah.
is. Um, but but especially Murder Incorporated, that's something that nobody's had a name like that, and even um,
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, I mean there is like Murder Incorporated, like say for like a movie, but I think it's something else like Murder Incorporated, something something whatever. But they have one called the Killer Elite, and and whatnot. But if you put it down, like say if you do a what the hell is it called? Because I had to do for mine where you trademark it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when you trademark it, that way no one can use it.
You can't trademark Murder Incorporated.
Oh, you can't.
There was like a battle between. Now I didn't find this out until after I friggin' made the name. Like a rap company was suing like the people that made like a Murder Incorporated book about the mafia,
Uh-huh.
and they said that it's so commonly used you can't trademark it or something like that.
Oh,
So they weren't able to trademark it.
well, why don't you try doing like using it? Not saying use it, but use like some more different words to it, or
I think I'm gonna do Murder Incorporated pod.
but yeah, that could work. You just do like
I
the
mean something.
Murder Incorporated, or Murder. Oh, I used to be good at putting this together. Oh man. Um. Oh, I don't know, but you'll think of something. I mean, we go. You're trying to get at that thing, but when you get something and look it up and see who else doesn't have it, and then trademark it,
Yeah, yeah.
that way you can have that situated for
How much did
but
that cost you?
huh?
How much did that cost you?
Uh, well, they do take like I think it's like a certain thing you have to look it up. But I think it's like 100 and something, like a 6 months or a year, and then it's like they take out like, well, basically they take out like certain amount a month. So I think it's like $15 here
Oh,
or $7 here, and that way you can do this and this. But then there is like things where you can pay more money so you can see who took or who tried to use your name. You know,
oh, really?
yeah, and then if you want to be like that person to sue them, or they can give you royalties of them, if they're going to use your name, you get the
Oh,
money
yeah,
for
yeah.
it. You know,
That's a good idea.
I
I'm
I,
gonna have
I
to look
think
into it
that's what
more.
it
I
is.
only looked into it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I'm gonna
I
have to look
think
into it
that's what
more.
it is, but don't quote me on that. Or just
Yeah, yeah.
do
I know
your
what you mean.
research on it, see how it goes, find out. But really trademark it, and then that way you can be able to do merchandising and like Spaceball merchandising. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and and Mel Brooks is like the man. You know,
He
you just
really is. He
you,
really
you
is.
you just can't do like sound clips on your thing, because like I tried, believe me, I tried. I did a interview session with this a podcast. The guy's name is Aaron, and he does a podcast called "I Had to Say It," which pretty much he'll say whatever comes to mind, and he's like, "Listen, I had to say it," and that's what I was. But he he loves Mel Brooks movies. So I'm like, awesome, I can find something for, you know, Spaceballs, or something of the world, whatever, and Blazing Saddles and this and this. And I'm looking for sound clips.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
every sound clip I have found was so racist. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I can't use this. I can't
Yeah, yeah,
use
yeah.
this. I can't definitely not use this. And
That's
then
funny. That's
but
funny.
then I found like Spaceballs, which is, like good ones in here and there, and then it's like, this is Mondo, and I'm like, okay, then I can use that
Yeah.
one. So it's just
That's
like
funny.
it's crazy shit. It's fun, but it's also a lot of hard work getting your shit together. So it's like, but once you have it in
That's
your
a good
mind,
idea, though. I think it makes it pop out.
Huh?
That's a good idea. I think doing that like you do it makes it pop out more.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to like, I tried everything from doing, like making this and doing this and trying to stick out a little bit, because there is like 80 to like, I don't know, 300,000 fucking podcasts out there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yours or mine or something. I mean, it could be like a diamond in the rough, or it's probably not going to go anywhere. But
Yeah.
and then you go on, and if you go on Good Pods, I don't know if you know about Good Pods.
Yeah. I actually today found out that I was rated 30th for true crime podcasts in the world on Good Pods.
Ah, congratulations! Nice,
We found that out today, actually.
nice. See, so you're out there. You're in there. You made like the level part of it. I looked on it. Mine's on. I'm like all time on leisure. I'm number 5, and
Damn.
well, that's all time. I mean, that wasn't even like like this week, but like for the month, I was number. Well, like you said, probably like 30 or something, or 35, 40 or something like that. And then that was like leisure. And then I looked at the hobbies, because I know I put it down for hobbies as for the podcast. And then I was
Yeah.
like number 50 something out of 100, and
That's
and
really awesome.
yeah,
So
and I
you're
was
out there
happy.
then?
Huh?
I said, so you're out there then?
Yeah, I'm like happy about it. I'm like, wow, I'm like, cool. And then there's a lot of people that, especially with like the ones that says listen by your friends, your friends listen to this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
I found mine like number 60 or number like 35 or something like that. And
Yeah.
then it has like the certain episode that was on. So
Yeah, I looked on there. I'm not on there. I was only on the true crime one. Oh no,
no,
I was on the true crime and the indie one.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's what you could switch it, like the Indian into the mainstream, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the indie, yeah, that's why I'm more, and that's what we call the person that did the thing for that did the review. She was like she put me down as a late night talk show host.
Ah, that's cool. That's
I'm like,
cool.
yeah, I know. I was like reading. I'm like, honey, I'm a late night talk show host. This is fucking great. And
Yeah,
then
that is
she
great.
goes, yeah, you were kind of like a late night talk show host. And I'm like, because basically I tell a story, but it's all over the place, but I kind of walk you through it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, it's kind of like in
Definitely,
here.
definitely.
So I'm walking through, everybody else listening to this, and walking through to listen to yours, and um, and then see what goes. Because I know there's a lot of friends of mine that a couple of friends, not a lot of friends. I mean, one guy we call it Josh. He's on uh your next favorite movie.
Yeah.
And so he's like he does everything from movies and everything else. But then he put down on like Twitter, he goes, oh, my listens for this week are, and then he has like my name on there, and like 3 or
That's
4 weeks in
cool.
a row, and I'm like, oh, cool. So,
That is cool.
but I am gonna go and
Yeah,
listen
you
to
do a
it,
good
even though I
job.
have. Huh?
I said you do a good job.
I try. It's like it's something to pass the time, like on a Friday or Saturday.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but we
Something
call it.
healthy to do, you know?
Yeah, I want to listen to yours. I haven't got a chance to listen to yours because of like what's going on with my dad, and I mean, it's not bad, but it was like it was just so like time constraints. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Friday, like for instance, and I'm like, because my dad wanted to go and get his car, but then the doctor said, oh, you have to go to the emergency room because your levels are a little bit too high. So he was going to pay for his car to
Yeah.
get fixed, and so then last Friday, where I'm supposed to do the podcast with Big Nick, but then I pushed it up to like 8 o'clock, and I went to the thing, and it took so much time, and then I went to uh and then Saturday I had to go and pick him up, which was the time where we were going to go and do ours.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then that's what the whole thing was about. And I'm like, all right, can we do it this time? Because I was like, shit, I don't, and honestly, I don't like to go and reschedule unless, like, say if you can do it, then I'm like, okay, we'll reschedule it. But when I say I'm gonna go and do something, that my time is your time. So,
I didn't mind. I didn't mind at all.
oh no, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm reiterating for like anybody else that's listening. I'm like, listen, I try not to, like, do it. And if I
Yeah.
do, it's a major thing. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. But when I have something set and then I go on there and I'm like, I'm not rescheduling unless I really need to. But
Yeah, yeah.
when I do, I'm like, my time is your time, and because you got stuff to do, and I'll do stuff too. But when we know about the time, that's what it is. So, that's why I try to keep it the way it is.
Yeah, yeah, I
um,
understand.
I try to,
I
as
understand.
like my girlfriend said, try to keep it professional. And that's what I try to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but um I guess that's it, I guess, unless there's anything else that you want to talk about, I guess, or
No, I'm good, man. I
yeah.
really enjoyed talking to you, though. I'd love to be back on.
Yeah. Hey, dude,
I
just give
really
me
did.
give a little DM or whatever if and then we'll figure out a day and all that and put you in.
Okay.
And I would
Yeah,
try
definitely.
definitely not to go and reschedule again, because um,
Yeah.
and then I don't know, we go and talk like whatever kind of stuff comes up, from then.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
now let everybody know where they can find you. Like where your podcast is at, or where you're at on Twitter and whatnot, wherever. What you got?
So you can find Murder Incorporated anywhere that you can listen to podcasts, Good Pods, Apple, Stitcher, anywhere. iHeartRadio, Pandora, we're everywhere. On Facebook. On Facebook, Murder Incorporated Pod. On Twitter, it's at Murder Inc. Pod. I love messing around on Twitter. Um, on Instagram and TikTok, it's Murder Incorporated Pod. And that's about it. So check it
Oh,
out. And I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you very much for having me.
yeah, no problem, no problem. It was like I said, you got, like, say if you want to just like bullshit some more, or you just got like something that you want to get off your chest or whatever, or if you're gonna get married or you're going to the moon, or I don't know if hey, my car fucking broke down. I don't know. It's like I'm not gonna be able to go
Yeah.
upstate to help you get your car, but maybe I can find a good tow truck guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Or
appreciate it, man.
but I've been trying to like see if I can get people to like see if we can get like people together. I mean,
Yeah.
I know with this time and everything else that people don't want to really go anywhere or do this, and then now we're all trying to come about and going out. I want to try to get some podcast people that are somewhat like in the vicinity. You know, like I'm in Long Island. I know there's another guy that's in Long Island. But there is like over people that's in certain states that bordering, like Boston or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and see if they want
I
to.
would love to do something like that.
Was it?
I would love to do something like that. Like get together, you're saying?
Yeah, go like do like a, I don't know. I'm not gonna say like dinner thing or something, or just get like a I'm not even gonna say a hall, but figure something. We just go and go to like a coffee shop or something,
Yeah,
and
definitely, man.
just like sit there and just talk about whatever and just throw out, and then have somebody record it.
That's a good idea.
We
That's a good
get it.
idea.
We record it, and then we'll like send it to each other like email wise, and then we'll use that for like our individual setup,
That's a good idea.
and then and just talk about whatever, like what we did, or how our
Yeah,
or stats, I guess, or I don't know,
yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. I'm always like trying to do, because
Well,
I
let me
see.
know if you do something like that. I'd be interested.
Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna
Definitely.
put it
I'll
like
jot it
on.
down.
I'll put it on like Twitter or something, and then that
Yeah.
way, like certain people that are in Long Island or New York, and because like how long? It's like 4 hours, like 4 or 5 hours from like
5 hours.
yeah, 5 hours to go to
It's not
Long
bad,
Island.
right?
So yeah,
Yeah, it's not bad.
so and then there's a guy shoot the flick, and he's over in Hicksville. So we try to probably get him, and if he wants, I'm not going to go and force on anybody, but yeah, if they
Well, I'd
want
be
to go out
interested.
there. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try doing that. I want to try doing have something set up where, you know, like a day that, I'm not going to go and do any podcasts, and we'll just go and do, I don't know, coffee or something.
Have lunch or dinner, definitely.
Yeah, or something like that, and then we just get a recorder and then, just whatever, talk about whatever.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah. And also you can find me on okay. So you go to Linktree, which is linktr.ee/Tattoo Squid Podcast. I believe that's how it goes. Or you just go to Twitter at podcast Tattoo Squid, YouTube Tattoo Squid Podcast, Instagram Tattoo Squid .podcast, TikTok, same name. What was the other one? TikTok. Crap. I forgot what the other ones were. But you'll find that all in the link tree. And plus you get my buy me a coffee and my merch site, which is tattoo squid podcast.threadless.com. So, and if you want to
There
get a
you
shirt
go.
or a mug or something, you go on that site and you get a shirt, mug, or skateboard, or bag or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Whatever
cool.
floats your boat.
Yeah, yeah.
So Harley, cousin of Harley Davidson.
Yep, that's my cousin.
And also related to the Marlboro Man, which is a great fucking movie.
That is a great movie.
That
is a great movie.
I had a friend of mine. His name was Craig, and he's like Southern. He was like from Texas or whatever. I don't know what state.
It's my son's name,
Oh yeah.
Craig.
Oh yeah. There you go. And so then he's like, he does like the whole Southern accent, whatever. It's just like, and he loved like, and he repeats everything that was from Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man. So like remember when like Don Johnson, he goes, oh well, my daddy, when he was like in this shitty world, and and then he left this, no, when he left this shitty world, he said this and this and this, so, and I'm like,
yeah.
I just love that movie. And then I watched it and I loved it. I try to keep watching it whenever I get a chance. I'm going to write
No,
this
that
down.
is a good movie.
This is probably going to be another thing for the thumbnail. Harley Davidson, Marlboro. I know my writing is chicken scratches.
Oh, me too, man. Mine's bad.
I mean, my dad says I have chicken scratches, but I seen his writing. I'm like, holy shit.
I know people in the office get so pissed at me because my writing sucks.
Yeah.
They get so pissed.
But it is what it is. We get it out there.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody wants to type.
Yeah. That's
So,
true.
alrighty, everybody, have a good night. Thank you, Harley, for being on the show. Have a good night in upstate New York, which we is an undisclosed location. There's no address. So
thank you so much for having me.
And also check out Murder Incorporated. I haven't done it yet, but I am going to, and I'm very intrigued about the crime podcast. I listened to a couple of different ones from other people, and I want to see what yours is about. So
yeah, please do.
And then we'll go with that. And like I said, go follow him on Instagram, follow him everywhere that he's going, and follow me, download his stuff, download my stuff, say hi to Santa, and don't drink and drive. Okay, we'll just leave it at that.
Don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
All right, Harley.
Bye.
You have a good night.
Have a
Take
good
it easy.
night.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.